Alright guys, this is the big one, okay? Western Suburbs over 2 legs in the semis. We know we're better than them, okay? We've done this to them the last couple of years. We can handle it. Let's just make sure we get the job done so I just have some peace of mind that we're actually going to the Club World Cup later this year, okay? Because if we can't beat these guys, we probably don't deserve to be going, if I'm being honest. Like, we do deserve to be going because we've won like 8 in a row of these or something. But just beat them and make sure of it, okay?
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 129 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both Cashmere Technical and the All Whites. I hope you're doing well, and coming up today, it's the big game in the Champions League this season for us over 2 legs. The New Zealand derby, we take on Western Suburbs, so we're looking forward to that coming up in today's episode. Then do make sure to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But this is our first game off the back of the second leg of the quarterfinals, which we went through during the course of yesterday's episode, as well as an international friendly against the drone flying cheats from Canada. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. To be fair, not much has changed off the back of our 5-1 win in the second leg and that 6-0 win in the first one. We went through very comfortably, 11-1 over the shade of magenta from New Caledonia, and it does set up a big semi-final. We take on Western Suburbs at the moment. It looks like that would be for the right to take on Lautoka in the final, a team that we bet back in the group stages. We get through this, we'd be raging hot favourites to pick up, I believe it would be a 9th straight Champions League here at Cashmere Technical, and it should absolutely make sure we'll be going to the Club World Cup later this year. We should be anyway, based on what happened last time around with Auckland City going and all sorts of weird stuff. Hopefully we're going this time, but just want to win this to make sure that will be the case, and it might be a chance for us to earn some much needed money and also boost our reputation. Very familiar with Western Suburbs. Actually took them on in the lead up to yesterday's episode in the Charity Cup. We bet them on penalties in that it was away from home up in Porirua, but to be fair, it was not the greatest game from either team. Wally Khaled got injured in that one. He's still out, so that's the only injury concern we have going into this one. But to be fair, Salcedo has been doing pretty well at right wing. But the other stats from the game, it was a pretty average one. Hopefully a bit more happens here over these 2 legs that you are about to see. But this is a team that recently we have had the wood over. Last time they beat us was a fair few years ago now in a quarterfinal of the Chatham Cup. And to be fair, that was also on penalties, but hopefully this is a good chance for us here to beat them yet again, especially as we play them over 2 legs and make yet another Champions League final. In terms of how we should be doing against these guys this season, a quick look at the season preview from the National League, and you'll see we should be better than them, albeit they are clearly the second best team in the competition, with 2 players sneaking their way into the media Dream 11 over us. Western Suburbs definitely the second best team here in New Zealand, but hopefully we still should be the best one and can show it here in these 2 leagues coming up, and especially because we've had a full week before this first leg. Western Suburbs, they played midweek, so we have had a bigger rest before the first leg. That will go the other way before the second leg up in Porirua, so hopefully can pick up a result here at my arena. We'll get into the action in this big semi-final against Western Suburbs. And here are the team sheets for the first league here from my arena. Just one change that we've made apart from right wing, with Salcedo and Hosafa comes in for RC. Not ideal, but he is for some reason on a heavy workload. Hopefully the young Brazilian can do well. There at Western Suburbs, looks like they're still going with their 4-3-3, and hopefully a good win for us here in the first league at home. And it hasn't taken long for the first highlight in this game. We're having to play out from the back here at the 3-minute mark, and a missed header there from Western Suburbs. Now a chance here for Lorenzo Janssen down the right end, but unfortunately that one comes off the woodwork, and Salcedo can't quite win the race to put that one away into what could have been close to an open net. So an early chance, unfortunately, couldn't quite take it. Still 0-0. And coming up to the halfway point now of this first half, just that one highlight early on so far in a corner there to Western Suburbs. Thankfully head that one away, albeit not too far. Duval switches that one back out to Villarreal. Bit of a fringe all white now. Louis Evans kind of deals with that danger, not too convincingly, and they're back on the ball here. Villarreal looking for that bottom right corner, but Cifuentes, who comes into this one in some pretty good form, a big save there to keep it at 0. Also, a really good chance there for Western Suburbs. That's now one for both teams. The corner, thankfully, Anderson, the former Western Suburbs man, can clear that one away. Still 0-0. And going forward 10 minutes off that previous chance there to Western Suburbs again, here they're on the attacks. This is a bit concerning. Going on the front foot here are the opposition, even though they're away from home now. Garner, I think that was, plays it back to Deval, and Villarreal will pump that one away, top left corner, past Cifuentes, but thankfully the flag goes up. Must have just been offside, but Western Suburbs are now slightly on the front foot, but thankfully still 0-0. And we're making our way into the last couple of minutes here of this first half. Western Suburbs have now picked up a couple of yellow cards, which could help us potentially in the second leg. But again, just like the Charity Cup that we played before yesterday's episode, this game has not been up to much. We've had more shots, but I think Western Suburbs, based on highlights, might be the team on the front foot. A few players out there are struggling. We're going to take off Debenham for Phil Wilson, and also Ezra Zuma's coming back from injury, his first start since then. In today's episode, not doing too well. Castro can come off the bench for him, and also maybe we should just try to suffer as a ball-playing defender. Does look a bit more natural in that role. He's been training as it for most of the pre-season. Have just recently switched him back to a central defender, but at the moment not doing too well. Hopefully we can kick into gear in the second half and take an advantage into the second leg up in Porirua. And making way forward to the hour mark now, and Hosafa isn't improved in the first 15 minutes of the second half despite being a ball-playing defender, so we're going to make a sub here. Isaac Hughes can come on and we'll go back to using a central defender, but I think that's all we're going to do here with a half hour still to go, and we're locked up at 0-0. And only a few minutes off back of that previous sub, still not much happening for us in the second half, and Salcato's dropped down to a 6.4, so we're going to bring on Tariq Nah for him off the back of that previous sub, also to go a bit wider in terms of our attack. And I've just noticed that Chris Green is actually on a 6.4, a bit surprising considering how good he was for the All Whites during the course of yesterday's episode. But before we can take him off, a highlight here, hopefully can finally score a goal in this game. Wilson makes his way down the right-hand side, puts it in there for Greenidge, but off target. I think that's a sign we need to take him off with our final sub. To Hotman de Villiers can come on, and also let's put Tariq Nah onto attack and also distribute to fullbacks when we're making our way out from the back. Let's just hope that might get us going a bit more late in this game, because at the moment, still scoreless. And with 5 minutes to go in this game, it's still 0-0. So now it's time for us here to go full out attack our wing back. He can go on to attack out left, and also let's chuck Louis Evans on a yellow card onto support. Do we go to the Bureaus? Probably not a great idea, just looking at what else we could do. And to be fair, I think we're doing about everything we can, except for the fact we could be more expressive, and actually we could try passing shorter, and we'll go on to an attacking mindset. Let's just try that and see if that might work late in this game, because so far more shots but only one on target. So our strikers today and our attackers in general not playing well, and Western Suburbs should be pretty happy with that result. It's 0-0 draw, to be fair. I think last year, this exact same game, that was also a draw, but I'm pretty sure that time there were goals in it. That one was a bit of a dull affair, and that's now 2 games against these guys where we haven't scored from open play. So a bit concerning. Western Suburbs might here be able to sneak their way into a Club World Cup, and that would be a bit of a disaster. If they did, I might go back to the A-League, because I'll be really sick of waiting to go to a Club World Cup in the save off the back of 8 straight Champions Leagues. Surely this is our year, but hopefully we can make sure it will be, and we'll come back shortly and pick up a win in the second leg up in Porirua. And we've gone forward a week, and we are here fully second leg up in Porirua. There are Western Suburbs, pretty similar from the first league, and also going with the same formation. Off the back of that first league, we picked up a 3-1 win over Nelson Suburbs, and a couple of changes for this game. Arce back at centre back, and also we're going to go with Castro up front, because he's probably a bit more match fit, and also has been scoring goals. Hopefully that might pay off here up in Porirua. Really need to score some goals in this one, otherwise could get worried out of the Champions League final. Early corner, can't quite link up there near post, but Salcado back there to Debenham, puts it far post for Asana Diop, and he will put it away. Thankfully, it doesn't take us long to score the first goal here in the second leg, and we go 1-0 up. Thankfully today, looks like we're going to get some shots on target, albeit not the source I thought it would be. Asana Diop, our left back, of all people, looping header there over Chronopolis, and we 1-0 in front early. And in fact, there's a highlight right off the back of the restart from that, so hopefully not an instant reply here for Western Suburbs. Maybe a few more highlights here in the second league. Poor pass there, Green just can cut it out. I think Luluai cut it out when it was trying to make its way through to Castro, but poor control, and Castro puts it away. It's a very hot start for us here at Kashmir Tech, and thankfully we did put Castro into the team. This ball from Bureau, not too good. Greenwich, first time pass that definitely. That's the chest of Luluai, but thankfully Castro, right place, right time, can put it away. Brilliant start, 2-0 up early. And hopefully this hot start will continue. Now it's a free kick here in our favour, looking for Diop far post. Can't quite find him this time, but thankfully do keep hold of the ball. Janssen with a left-footed first-time finish. Unfortunately, that one just high and wide, but definitely on the front foot. And 2-0 in front. Albeit things have really slowed down since that hot opening 10 minutes. There's been no highlights since then, just making our way into the last 5 minutes of this first half in Salcedo. Orange injury. I think we'll play things safe, especially with Khalid still out for a little while, so Tariq Na can come on just before halftime. And in fact, there's one more highlight here before we do head in to these sheds. Hopefully, one more goal might put this tie to bed, but thankfully, really good start in this game to make up for that firstly we couldn't pick up a result. Now Tariq Na plays that one in for Castro, who was offside, so that one will get ruled out. We score a goal, but it's not going to count. It's a 2-0 here at halftime. I'm pretty happy with how this one's going. Just that one change we made just before halftime with Salcedo picking up a bit of a knock. Hopefully that's not too serious. Otherwise, right wing could be a bit of an issue, albeit should be fine in the final. But thankfully, putting some chances away in this game, albeit it was quite early on. 2-0 as we get the second half underway. And so far, no highlights in the second half of this game. We're about to make our way into the last 20, and there are some players out there just going fairly. And I think 2-0 up, we can take the chance here to give them a rest. So Louis Evans on a 6.6. Let's bring on Marco Corona, the American. Also Max Caputo for Lorenzo Janssen. Nas going fairly. We did just bring him on, but we should really give some game time to Zoomers for Castro. He did score a big goal for us, but hopefully Zoomers, we can get a match fit before the final, which is coming up, but that does leave one more sub late on in this game. Off the back of that, a free kick. We find Diop again, but that time goes just wide of that right hand upright. But thankfully, still 2-0 Kashmir with only 15 minutes left. And with 10 minutes to go, might be a chance here for Western Suburbs to make their way back into this game with a free kick, albeit it is a long way out. Cogman will take this one short free kick, and they find their Berrio in a ton of space, but thankfully misses the target. A well-worked short free kick. We know how dangerous those can be in FM24, but thankfully off target. That might have been the chance they need. Now, a few players here on a dark red heart, and actually one of them, Tariq Na, with that right wing situation. De Hotman, De Villiers can come on. Let's just make sure we've still got some right wingers to play some games soon, because that could be a bit of an issue off the back of this game. But in the end, that game did die down off the back of that hot start, which we did make yet again. A game with not many chances, but thankfully our first two shots did result in goals, and they were through Diop with a header, and then Castro off the back of a bit of a mistake from Mali Luluai made the most of that. I think Greenwich might have got the assist for that second goal, and of course Debenham for that first one. So to be fair, that might not be the longest episode. Those two games didn't take too long at all. To be fair, pretty scratchy performances from us here at Kashmir Tech, but Western Suburbs are clearly the second best team here in New Zealand. We pick up a win, and that will set up a final against Lautoka, who just hold on over Waniagu thanks to the away goals rule. So it wasn't vintage Kashmir technical, but we do make our way through to yet another Champions League final here, and we do it with a 2-0 win there thanks to that second leg over Western Suburbs, knocking them out yet again in a big competition. Also, it's actually 4-1 we beat Nelson Suburbs by in that previous game in the Southern League. A double to Castro, and also goals there to De Hotman, De Villiers and Max Caputo, to give those guys a bit of game time, as you saw there in that second leg late on. But thankfully Castro brought that goal scoring form over into that second leg, and also Diop with that early header to make sure that we picked up a win. But to be fair, both legs, not the best performances. Maybe Western Suburbs with their vertical tiki-taka, that's a system we used to run here, might just be on the verge of overtaking us here in New Zealand. Maybe need to improve our squad quality before we do head in to that Club World Cup, provided we don't lose the final to Lautoka, but we beat them 3-0 in the group stage, as you can see there right at the top of the screen. Or we might need to change our tactic, but that could be a risk in the same year as a Club World Cup. But that will do it for today's episode. Just confirmation coming up tomorrow. It will be the Champions League final against Lautoka. And around that, I don't think there's too much going on. Might just end up being a one-game episode unless something interesting does pop up in the Chatham Cup. But All Whites at the moment, we are also stuck in OFC World Cup qualifying. But that will do it for today. We get past Western Suburbs in the semis. If you enjoyed it, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well until tomorrow for that Champions League final where we take on Lautoka. That one, I dare say, away from home at Churchill Park. So we've already done a bus trip there earlier this week. Oopsie daisies, but until tomorrow for that Champions League final, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.